everyone, Super Wild Jellyfish here, and welcome to the first ever fan requested reaction, Tyranny by the Voidz. I have had a little bit of history with, well, Julia Casablancas, not really the Voidz. I've listened to Is This It? I've listened to The New Abnormal quite a lot this year. It was one of the better albums that came out. And in terms of the Voidz, I think I've listened to one of the singles and probably the first song off Virtue. That's about it though. This is uncharted territory because unlike the Gorillaz reaction, I've heard none of these songs. I think I should probably get across. Usually when I have first listens, even though a majority of the time I could enjoy the album, some of my favourite albums of all time, they still took a few listens to really click. First reaction me, like real first reaction me, he's a bit of a harsh bugger to say the least. He's pretty harsh. I think it's probably my expectations. I think even when I know what I'm getting into, if it just doesn't really click enough, it just doesn't really work for me. But from what I've heard, this will probably be quite good. The person who recommended this, they described the sound of the album saying, just imagine you find an old VHS tape in a post-apocalyptic war. The tape is full of noise, industrial and punk sounds with weird riffs. And that sounds like something I'd love. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised something like that would come out the Voidz of all bands. From what I heard of the Voidz, they sounded like more like an electronic version of the Strokes, but from that description it sounds a lot more like, you know, Daughters and Swans and all that. I'm probably not going to go in with those kind of expectations, expecting like a Daughters or Swans like album. It's probably not going to be like that abrasive, to say the least. I guess before we go in, I'll start off the rating scale. I will mention this time I probably won't have the scale up for the whole video because last time I had a lot of like technical problems when it came to Premiere. It was running really slow. So if a song is good, it will get You Won't Get What You Want by Daughters. We're going to mix up the other kinds of to the rating scale because we're going to have new mediums in this. You know, it's not just going to be music. So if something is just meh, then we'll have Far Cry 5 because, you know, it was a good game, but could have been way better in many areas. And in terms of if a song's bad, well, I have a whole new rating for that. So if it's just simply bad, it will get Star Wars The Last Jedi because I do not like this film at all. But you know, I can say there's like one or two merits, probably technical merits. You know, I can at least say that if it's, you know, got at least a little bit of merit to it, because that leads to the fourth rating. And I don't expect to give this to any track here from what I'm expecting, but if it is really that bad, it will get Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, because I swear this is the closest thing to a proless film, so, you know, that'll work quite well. Well, I guess it's time to start. This is 63 minutes, 12 tracks, quite a long album. I quite like the sound of that. Yeah, Take Me In Your Army. Here we go. This is actually kind of sway. I'm getting Modern Bring Me Horizon vibes. And a little bit of Strokes as well. Ooh. Oh wow. Oh, this is definitely experimental. Sounds like Julia Casablancas is just like throwing everything at the wall experimental wise. I mean that in a good way. Not really picking up anything from the lyrics yet, but I think this has probably got more like when it comes to listening to the album, I guess the actual sound of it is probably what the listener should be mainly focusing on compared to the lyrics. I guess the lyrics probably have a little bit of depth, but right now I'm kind of just, I guess I'm just focusing on that. Oh! This is very interesting music-wise. Quite uneasy as well, but like even when it's uneasy it still just feels so nice as well. Ooh. like this outro. Oh, I really like this outro. This actually sounds really very punchy. Like rather subdued as well, but like in a good way. It's very interesting to say the least. I guess I wasn't really preparing for that kind of sound. I think the sound I was kind of preparing for was like really like harsh and abrasive with probably little elements of pop here and there. But that kind of felt that kind of felt a lot like I said, a lot like the modern sort of Bring Me Horizon. I will say I think for first listen, I kind of feel like this is probably already going to be one of those albums I am going to have to listen to more than once, because in terms of my feelings on it right now, it's like I know I liked it, but I think even then I still feel like maybe there's probably more to grasp on more listens to it. So I'll give it. You won't get what you want, but I'll definitely outline my final thoughts on it when this is done. Yeah. Next track, Crunch Punch. Okay, now I'm getting 9 Inch Nails vibes already. Yeah, I think already this is kind of feeling like the whole band are kind of just taking like loads of risks at once in terms of it being experimental. It really does actually feel like they are throwing everything at the wall here. Yeah, so far a lot of it is sticking. Oh. That was actually quite an interesting pause actually, I quite like that. It's like Strokes and the 9 Inch Nails just had a baby. It sounds incredible. Oh, I like that. This is weird. In a good way though. I was expecting a pause there. Like I was just expecting like in verse 2 there was going to be another pause, but even then it still threw me off. Very interesting directions. Very interesting directions. The song is so weird. It's just pure experimentation. It is really interesting. That was that was definitely an interesting track to say the least. I'll give it You Won't Get What You Want Again. I feel like I'm going to be giving like a lot of those, but with like a really confused face. Like I said, this is definitely going to take more than one listen to fully grasp my thoughts on it. So next track is Mutually Assured Destruction, and it looks like it's spelling out mad. The 9 Inch Nail vibes are really coming off here. I feel like they are the main inspiration here. Even though all the crashes are hitting, I don't think they're like hitting, you know, like on like a Daughters or a Swans album. You know, it doesn't feel like every time there's a crash, it doesn't exactly feel like it's pounding into you. It sounds like it's being pushed back a little bit. Even then, it still sounds good. Julian's vocals here, they sound a bit like sort of muffled, kind of synthesized, I guess. Okay, to be completely honest, when it came to this track, I honestly don't know my full feelings on this one. It probably could hit a little bit more, because there were so many crashes and so many like pounding drums, but it kind of felt like they were really stripped back. They weren't exactly going full force. I think because of that, I feel like maybe they could have just got a little bit further with it. You know, I'm listening to this album on like really loud speakers, so unless headphones change the experience, then I don't know. I'll give that Far Cry 5. I'll give it a meh for now. But if it does grow, of course I will change that rating. All right, now Human Sadness. I've heard many good things about this track. I've heard some people saying it's probably like one of their favourite songs of all time. So so expectations are rather large for this one. I'm still going to go in rather unbiased, but yeah, 10 minutes and 57 seconds. This is definitely a track that I'm going to like if it's good. Like if the track isn't good, then that's just going to be torture for me. But I have hope. I have high hopes. I think this is going to be great. Human Sadness. I feel like we're already starting off strong. It's quite spacey. Those little hits, they do actually hit quite a bit actually. I couldn't hear it coming out, it's like really pounding out the speakers. I like that vocal effect, that sounds cool. I'm getting like real Twin Fantasy vibes right now. Yeah, this is real Twin Fantasy vibes right now. Oh my god. That is how you transition to the midway point. Oh wow. Yeah, I don't get what he's saying, but I feel like here the lyrics are really strong. I think the other tracks so far have been kind of near on the lyrics, but here they sound really interesting. Yeah, this kind of sounds like when I heard Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino by Arctic Monkeys. I remember after hearing Everything You Come to Expect, and I remember the sounds of that album, it kind of sounded like that was kind of like Alex Turner's practice round for when he was going to eventually make Tranquility Base, and I'm getting those same kind of vibes on this because it sounds, because I'm hearing a lot of sounds here that sound very similar to most of the stuff that was on the New Abnormal. It's always interesting to see like an artist sort of experimenting with a certain sound and then they kind of go back and perfect it like when they do it years later. You know, I'd still say that this sounds really good. This song is sounding incredible. I'm loving the sound of this so far. Nice outro. Wow, that was something. I think my expectations here have been kind of just, it feels weird because I wasn't expecting this kind of sound like at all. Like I like it, I definitely like it. I feel like on repeat listens it will grow. I think the main thing I'd say here is that it just, the whole thing so far has just sounded really weird, you know, in a way where it kind of just like it just sounds like it's kind of breaking a lot of the conventions that you'd usually find in just really all music, really, and that's not a problem at all. It's definitely the best track I've heard so far, absolutely. Yeah, I'll give that You Won't Get What You Want. I don't think that one's going to change. I think on repeat listens I'm going to love this one. Yeah, I feel like that this is more of a track where with like headphones on and kind of just sort of letting the song sort of take over. I'm imagining it'll probably be even better when it's like that. I guess I'll go on to the next one, Where No Eagles Fly. Sound mixing sounds really good on this track. Ooh. Oh, that's sounding good. I think the sound of his vocals here sound really interesting. Ooh. this is the kind of ending I want. Yeah, that one, I love the sound of that one, and vocals as well. Yeah, in terms of lyrics, however, I don't think I'm that big on the chorus. I think meat, predators eat meat, predators eat meat. Apparently I'm looking into, it's like referencing sort of like politics and all that, but even then, like I think probably the way, not only the way it's delivered, but like the actual way it's been written, I feel like that could have been done a little better. And I feel like a lot of the lyrics on this track, they're probably the weakest element to it. I get what it's going for. I get what the lyrics are going for. I feel like it probably could have been written just a little better. So, I know that I did mention that sound was going to be one of the main things I was going to focus on here, but even then, yeah, I'm going to give it Far Cry 5. I think the sound of this track is probably the second best I've heard so far. When you've got lyrics that like are kind of noticeably quite like eye-catching for the wrong reasons, that's when it kind of does actually start affecting the song a little bit. The reaction you just saw was recorded in November of 2020, and what you're seeing now is being recorded on the 19th of February 2021. This video took a lot out of me. I didn't have a very good sort of reaction to this album. Like, for the first part that you saw was all that I could really salvage of it, because when it came to the second part of the video, there was barely anything that I can do with it. Regarding the actual reaction as a whole, it's one of those cases where this was one of those albums where it wasn't one that, like, when it came to the album as a whole, it didn't really leave that good of an impact when it came to its sort of replayability, because when it came to the Gorillaz album that I first reacted to, and when it's come to many other albums that I've listened to, usually I am able to re-listen to them whether I like them or not, because I can kind of sort of just go through the whole thing again and again if I really have to. But when it came to Tyranny, I think the furthest I got on a re-listen was about 4 tracks in. I think with Human Sadness, I think I got about halfway through it, and then, well, it just didn't really leave that much of an impact. And it was one of those cases where I think Tyranny, when it came to the album as a whole, it was a case where it just took, it had a lot of experiments. And while a lot of them paid off in the first half, a lot of them really didn't in the second. I can't really rate it at this point because I don't even know how I feel about it. It's one of those albums where it's kind of just, it's not really that good to me, but it's not really that bad either. It kind of just, it's not even really mediocre. It kind of falls into this position where it's just boring to me. So I am glad I reacted to it, because it meant that I got to, you know, learn more sort of editing skills on like Premiere and all that. But I think when it came to the actual album I was reacting to, it's just, I wasn't as invested as I thought I was going to be. So yeah, there's not going to be a second part that's released, because it's going to be released, because it's really barely anything I can really do with it. But no, I think the main reason, aside from the actual album that I was editing being the reason why this video took so long to come out, the other reason was I did something really stupid when it came to the Tyranny reaction, because I decided to do another one on top of it, which was to Aphex Twin's Richard D. James album. And that kind of pressure did not help me in the slightest. I am still going to try and edit that, and I am pretty sure I should be able to make a full reaction out of that one, because I have re-listened to that album multiple times, and I did actually get a lot more out of it when it came to what I was actually able to say, because I found a lot of footage with the Tyranny reaction where I wasn't really saying anything. I was kind of just waiting for the music to end in places. But I should be able to release that, because that I actually did quite a bit of. But
in the meantime, there's going to probably be two reactions that I'm going to be working on getting a recording of. One will be for the music video of Come to Daddy, because I've heard that's one that could be quite interesting to react to when it comes to the music video side of things. The album that I want to react to is Black Country New Roads new album that came out recently, mainly because I've wanted to listen to it since it came out, and I've kind of held off just so I can get a reaction of it. So I'll get that recorded at some point. I'll start editing that as well. And when it comes to just other content I'm going to release this year, I guess I'm going to kind of go at it like I did last year, just release content sort of whenever, but I will try and release more this year, and as well as that, keep it way more consistent as well, as I was near the end of 2020. As of the Cyberpunk video, well, that's a big one. So that one's going to be in production for quite a while. It's probably going to be in between when I'm working on the reactions and other kinds of videos. I hope you enjoyed the video that came out in the end when it comes to Tyranny. I am sorry it isn't in 2 parts, but I just... second part was terrible. It was just, there was nothing that I could use. At least I was able to get this out finally. I've been editing this for way too long, and I just want to move on at this point. So yeah, this has been Super Wild Jellyfish. Please do subscribe if you want to see more content, and may you strive to be wild self.